I left Tegum City. I took off on a mountain journey through the island of Mindanao. This drive is amazing. I mean, we're talking top of the top amazing. But something I wondered while driving through the mountains is, why are there a lack of hot babes in the mountains? I mean, you see a lot of people, right? You see the grandmas and the grandpas, the mums and dads. You see a pile of kids running around. I mean, it's just kids all over the place. I mean, they pop out kids like there's no tomorrow. So the kids grow up, and the parents can no way afford for their kids any kind of higher education. So I'm just wondering, where do all these hot babes go when they hit adulthood with no education and no money? Where do they go, and what do they do, and how do they even get there? They'd have to have a job prepared for them before they went anywhere. Anyway, that is my question. It's just this anomaly up there in the mountains. All right, now let's get serious here, folks. Let's get back to the journey. You gotta believe me here, okay, when I say this. But traveling the Philippines, there were several amazing rides. I mean, rides that I would classify as amazing. And this ride through the mountains of Mindanao was one of the most amazing rides. Because, look, the reality of driving around the Philippines is that there was a lot of traffic, a lot of pollution, a lot of big trucks you have to pass just so you can breathe. A heck of a lot of road construction happening. Potholes come out of the blue. You get people who just walk across the highway. You get kids playing on the side of the highway, and I was very worried about these kids. Maybe they're just gonna bolt onto the road. But because they're playing with a ball right on the side of the highway, I'm thinking what the F? The parents don't care? Imagine what a disaster it would be if you hit somebody as you're driving. All these lives turned upside down. I was always very strict with myself about keeping my eyes peeled, okay? I mean, except when I saw a hot babe with a nice pair of bujungas. I mean, we gotta be serious here, folks. You would do the same thing. But why exactly is this ride so breathtaking? Well, there's a lot of weaving, okay? I love the weaving. It slows you down, keeps you safe. But also, yeah, the weaving is fun because you never know what's around the corner. There's a lot of beautiful mountain tops, like cliffs, if you want to stop your bike and just check out the view. I mean, it's hard to get away from it. I mean, you're just looking for hundreds of miles, seemingly. There's a lot of village people. Gotta love the village people. I mean, listen here, folks. You got the Manny Pacquiao. I mean, look, you got that Forbes Park where Manny Pacquiao lives. No, but you walk around there, nobody's going to say hello to you, okay? But up in the village, the people are very, very poor. I mean, you have not seen poverty like this, folks. And the poorer people are the more friendlier. Or they seem to be anyway. The richer they are, the more snobbier they are in general. But if you are in the mood and heading up in the mountains, bring two things with you, folks, okay? You're heading up in the mountains, you want to bring cash and Cialis. Hey, I mean, bring Cialis to give the men who have ED. Get your heads out of the gutter here, folks. Let's get serious here, folks. Taking this ride, consider bringing one thing only, okay? To hand out. And that one thing you want to bring into the mountains of Mindanao is rice, okay? That is what they need. That is what they want. They won't even ask for money up in the mountains. I mean, hey, they have nothing to spend it on. There's no 7-Eleven. They're not going to a furniture store. There's no IKEA up there. They ask for rice. Personally, I was not prepared for what I saw, okay? One story here. That was not on video. I was riding along the highway. I was enjoying the view, and suddenly I was waved down by two boys, okay? Maybe they were about 10 years old. So I pulled over to see what's up. I mean, we are just in the middle of nowhere here, folks. There weren't even other cars. There's no houses, no people, no nothing for miles. I'm sure these kids came down from the forest. So I pull over on the opposite side of the road, okay? Because I don't know exactly what's going on here. So as I pull over, these two boys cross the road and approach me. So they were on the trees side, and I was on the side of where the cliff is. They said, "Sir, rice." That's what they said. And they did appear frantic, okay? Like, I'm assuming they were just very hungry and they couldn't get any food. The expression on their face was complete despair. I said, I don't have any rice, Wolong rice. So I gave them 100 pesos. And the one boy, he took the 100 pesos, but it was like this money didn't mean anything to them. Again, he asked for rice. And we're talking like there were fleas in their hair, gunk in their eyes. I mean, this is real poverty up there in the mountains. I was definitely not prepared for this experience. I had no choice but to say, I'm sorry. And, I left. I mean, I didn't know what to do for them. But I did learn something very important. Next time I drive through this region, I will bring Ziploc bags with rice and have it prepared to hand out. I mean, hey, it feels good to help someone if you are able to do that. If you have the ability to do that. I mean, if you have the ability to do it. In Angeles, like if I give coins to a beggar, they take it and they walk away. It's like that's their life, It doesn't feel good for the person giving if the person who's taking doesn't appreciate it at all. But it's the total opposite if you're giving to someone and they really appreciate it. I mean, all it takes is a smile, or a thank you. That's all it takes. And that just feels really good. I mean, you're not going to save the world here, folks, but you can do your small part. I mean, do you know the feeling that I'm talking about? It's like a warm feeling in your body. But look, on a bright note here, I was pulled over by a family there were two carts, I guess, and they literally pulled me over and asked if I could take a photo with their daughter. Apparently their daughter said she wants a photo with me. So we pulled over and took a photo together, and that was the end of that. That was pretty cool. Anyways, I kept going. Finally, I got my little tiny butt to the mountain city, my number one city, the city of Malaybalay. Now, talk about a city that I love here, folks. As I've said before, there is something special about Malaybalay that I can't really put my finger on. But some places just automatically, they feel like home. And Malaybalay is one of those places. On my next visit, I really want to go hiking in the mountains there. I remember on my first trip there to Malaybalay, I talked to a group of young college-aged Filipinos. Now, they came from Davao just specifically to go hiking in Malaybalay. So that says a lot about the hiking. And hey, I'm a hiking kind of guy. But what I like best about Malaybalay is, I gotta tell you, just in general terms, it's the friendly people, the small town environment, but it's very clean. Also, I like the attention I get from the girls there.
Follow me.
I will follow you.
Oh, you're so handsome.
Female stares were noticed, okay, my fellow compatriots. I did notice some eyes on me from more than a few college girls. Because remember, attention from the girls is very regional. One location, you get attention from girls, okay? Another location, an hour away, you get no attention from the girls. So Malaybalay is one of those good female towns. If attention is on your list of priorities, well, there is a big university in town with a lot of highly intelligent and pretty college girls.
Me too.
Oh, thank you.
I like American boys.
Wow.
Another thing I like is the cooler weather up there. You might see on a weather app that the temps are not much cooler in Malaybalay than in any other big city around the Philippines. But forget what the weather app says, okay? Listen, it's cold enough that you won't even need an aircon. And it was the first time in a while that I covered myself in a blanket with no aircon while I slept at night up there in Malaybalay. And in the morning, I needed to wear a light jacket. And where was I staying? At Roger's house with his beautiful wife, who is a medical doctor. So thank you both for the blankets. Okay, I would have been very cold without it. But what else do I like about Malaybalay? Hey, I'm a coffee guy. I love going to a coffee shop. It's just my thing, And Malaybalay has good independent coffee shops. There is no Starbucks there in Malaybalay. But many of the coffee shops there are better than Starbucks. But there's one thing I dislike about Malaybalay. I gotta tell you this, folks. It's the lack of good housing for a single guy like me. They got houses to rent. You can rent a house. I think there's plenty of them. And they aren't even that expensive. They're pretty cheap, actually. But as a single dude, I'm more into like a small studio type space. It's just what I like, and they're all like 100% occupied in Malaybalay. I think there's even a waiting list. But anyway, as it was, I was just visiting. So I spent a few nights here in Malaybalay during my visit, and I moved on. If I were going to raise a family in the Philippines, though, I just got to throw this out there. Malaybalay would be my number one choice. But anyway, aside from talking about the future, after a few days of my visit there in Malaybalay, it was time to hit the road again, and I'm heading to CDO. I was planning to stop in CDO for the night, just for old time's sake, because I've stayed there for a month prior to the pandemic. But by the time I got here to CDO, I realized it didn't take long to get there, just 2 or 3 hours. And by the time I got there, I didn't even feel like stopping. And being on the highway in CDO, man, it was so industrial and busy that I didn't really feel like navigating the busy roads to find a hotel. I'd much rather just keep driving, drive through CDO, just skip this town. Now, I gotta tell you, I do love CDO, but I love CDO Uptown. Okay, it's clean, quiet. It's a beautiful area. There's no beggars. Uptown is where I spotted Gio in a coffee shop. Okay, Gio from Gio in the Philippines. And I remember in this coffee shop, the same one where I spotted Gio, a female worker gave me a free quesadilla. I mean, I guess she liked me. She had a crush on me. And she was pretty too. But at the time she gave me a free quesadilla, I was already involved with a girl who I went down there to meet. It was my internet girlfriend. I flew there to meet this pretty girl, so I couldn't just pull the old switcheroo, so the timing wasn't the best. But I think that specific coffee shop now is bankrupt, which is too bad. But yes, I have CDO Uptown on my list of places where I may live in the future. The downtown area of CDO is a different story. It's like a mini Cebu, okay? Just busy and polluted. Hey, Uptown CDO is like Serenity now compared to downtown. But anyways, that was it for the great city of Cagayan de Oro. I just passed through and I kept moving south down the highway until I hit Iligan. Iligan is probably the least friendly city in the Philippines. I think I've mentioned that on a past video. I mean, this is my own personal experience, although it is first-hand experience. Hey, it's just only my personal experience. But I slept in Iligan at my favorite hotel there. I forgot the name of it, but it's right next to the Bo's coffee shop. So when I'm in town, I just search Google Maps for Bo's, okay? Then I see my hotel. But anyway, I went from Malaybalay to Iligan, and that was enough driving for one day. And there was no decent hotel on the horizon, so I decided to stop there in Iligan. So I slept in Iligan, very comfortable hotel, but let's skip the boring parts, okay? I slept, I woke up, I had a cup of coffee at Bo's, and hey, Iligan is one of those places, I'm okay to sleep there, but when I wake up, I get the hell out of Dodge. I took the ferry to Ozamiz, okay? And the ferry is a bit weird here. I'll tell you why, okay? As I entered the area where you go to get the ferry, there was a lineup, okay? That's not unusual. So I just went there into the lineup. I wanted to get on the ferry, but nobody told me I didn't need to be in that lineup. I just assumed. I mean, look, I'm not the El Presidente here, folks. I'm not the King of Siam. I'm not even worthy of a decent cup of coffee. So who am I to skip to the front of the line? But apparently, hey, I'm allowed. And I didn't know that until some lady selling knickknacks told me I'm free to go to the front. She sort of pointed to go ahead, go to the front. So I scooted on down to the front, folks, and I know what some people will comment below. Oh yeah, you think you're so great, big ego Americano. But folks, before you get mad at me, there were different lanes and I was not in the bike lane. I should have been in the bike lane. So I just went in the bike lane and I got to the front and they waved me onto the ferry. I was the very last passenger. Anyway, there was no paperwork, just paid. It wasn't even 200 pesos. And the next thing I knew, I was on the ferry heading to Ozamiz. But regarding getting to Ozamiz, I've heard that in September, there should be a bridge all ready to go. So no more need for the ferry. I mean, I bet the owner of the ferry is going to be pissed. That ferry was his meal ticket. But from September this year, 2024, you can get from this small city to Tenggub City with your bike. Tenggub is just nearby Ozamiz. Or your bike or your car. It's a freaking bridge. You can get there faster. And so it'll be easier and faster and better with the bridge. It just means you don't have to deal with the ferry schedule. So the good thing about Ozamiz City is that there are, gotta be honest here, there's 3 colleges in town. I believe there's 3 colleges. So there's a lot of college girls walking around, and there are no foreigners in Ozamiz. Well, almost none. So that is a good combination here, folks. Think about it. What I mean by combination is like 3 colleges full of hot babes. It's a small city, poor, and did I mention there's a lot of hot babes? Just giving you a picture of Ozamiz here, folks. You may want to get down to the Mercado here, folks. One little story in Ozamiz here was that I was riding outside Ozamiz, just exploring the surrounding area. I was about 20 minutes, 30 minutes out of town, and I met a group of girls. And one of them told me that, you know, she wants to meet an old foreigner, okay? Now she said old specifically, okay? Now, she was only 18. Now, I asked her how old she was, you know, I already told you. She said she's 18, and so she was also a single mom, of course. But actually, I mean, she was pretty cute. But I asked her, why do you want an old dude specifically? Like, why not get a young dude? Like, why are you looking for an old boyfriend? As she said, because he will die soon and I will be rich. That's what she said here, folks. I was a little on the surprise side. She was very open about it. Well, I guess both parties win if, you know, if the dude likes him young, okay, and he has money to set her up for a better life, then, you know, they both win, you know, in that situation. I said, okay, that's really cool, giving the old thumbs up, but I don't think, like, she knows how it works in reality. Like, it's not that simple. Like, I mean, if the dude dies, it's not like his money will automatically be deposited in the bank account that she doesn't have. Maybe that could be set up by the guy, by the old guy, but the old dude would definitely have to take care of that for her. Like, no way this girl's gonna know how to do that. We're talking pretty far from the city, living in a shantytown kind of place. So in her mind, how her dream guy's cash will get into her hands after he passes, I don't think she's fully thought that through. Anyway, that is just the situation she has in her head, so good luck to her. I certainly hope, and we all do, that she does meet her dream grandpa.